All right, folks, thank you for joining us today. This is a live webinar, and we're going to get started here in just 1 second. We're doing an interview with one of our ABS business owners, Sajida Ahmed. And so I think you'll be thrilled to hear what she's done to build her business. This is somebody who's actually gone through our training, did her due diligence like you're doing, hopefully, and it's actually working for her, as you'll see. I'm thrilled to have her on here today.
Hi.
Hey, thanks for doing this for me today. I know you're busy. Obviously, you've built your business considerably since you started, and so I appreciate you taking this hour out of your day to do this for us.
I'm glad to be here.
Sajida, I just thought I would start by asking you to kind of tell your story, what you were doing before you got in this business, and then lead us right up into the point where you started the business, and we'll go from there.
Okay, so I was in IT. I was in the tech field. I have a couple master's degrees, and I spent 25 years in corporate America, right? Working for different companies. And the last job I had was with eBay, PayPal. I was actually in California. And
back when eBay and PayPal were still together.
Yeah. Now they're split up. But at that time, and I was managing like 1,600 people in like 4 different continents, and I was constantly working, like 18 hours a day and traveling and all that. And I was like, okay, I need to stop doing this, and I need to do something for myself. So I started looking, I went on the internet and I started looking, and I was looking for franchises. I was like, okay, what is it that I can do? And I just happened to see ABS. I mean, I don't know how I got into it, but I just saw it. And I was like, interesting. So they do billing. So my sister is a physician. She's a family physician, and she has her own practice. And she works like 7 days a week. And, I would talk to her at 10 p.m. at night, and she would be like, oh, I still have a couple hours of work to do. And I was like, what do you have to do? And she was like, I have to do my billing. And I was like, there should be a better way of doing this. I mean, this poor girl, I mean, she had 2 kids and a husband. And instead of spending time with her family, she was doing billing, and all day long she was seeing patients. So, that was at the back of my mind. So when I saw ABS, and I was like, okay, maybe I should look into it. So I called, and I found out that the ABS office was very close to where I live. Actually, I live in Fort Worth, not Fort Worth, Texas. And I was like, okay, I'll just go there. So I called whoever picked up the phone, and I was like, I want to come in and see your office. And they were like, sure, you can come in. So I went in, and they said, okay, Patrick is going to be here. And I was like, who's Patrick? And they were like, oh, he's the owner of the business. I was like, okay. So I spent an hour or so with you, Patrick, and I was totally sold. I don't know what it was, maybe your honesty or your straightforward way of speaking or whatever it was. So I have no medical billing or no medical background. I mean, I was in IT, my degree was in computer science, and so nothing to do with medical billing, but I was like, this is good. I'm going to do this. So, we met on Wednesday. Thursday, I paid my fee, and Monday, I went in for the class. The training was starting on Monday. And, on Friday, my husband was like, okay, what are you thinking? What are you going to do? And I was like, oh, I've already paid my fee. I'm doing this. He was like, really? You decided so quickly? I was like, yes, it seems good, and I'm going to do it. And I'm very happy I did. I mean, I decided within, 2 days, but it's been good.
Oh, that's a great story. I do remember meeting you, and I think it was just because of my face that you joined us, because you said, wow, you look very honest.
I don't know whether you look so good or whether you talk good. I don't know. But honestly, just, meeting you, I just decided, okay, I'm going to do this.
Well, you might have met my son, Adam, there as well. He was there in that office. It's now we all work out of our home. We're all virtual now,
I don't know if it was Adam. I think it was somebody else.
Was it Jason, maybe?
Jason. I think it was Jason. Yeah, he's the one who asked me, and I talked to him, and he said, you come in and all that. Yeah, it was Jason.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've met Adam in person.
You know, it's funny. We went virtual at the end of 2019, even before we knew that COVID was going to hit. And so we all work right out of our offices now. I've got people in California, I've got people in Alabama, all over Texas, Florida. There's lots of people, you know, that support our business owners. And there's really no reason to have a physical office nowadays. We couldn't justify that $4,000 a month lease, you know.
There's no need. I mean, COVID has taught us that. I mean, COVID had a lot of problems, but I think this was
Yeah.
one good thing that you can do anything from home. And
So you're working from your home now?
I am. So I have a room in my office, which is, I mean, in my home, which is my office. And I have my computer and I have two big monitors and all that. So I work from home.
So you were in IT and just you said earlier you were traveling a lot. Is that right?
I was. I mean, there was a time when I would leave Monday morning, I'd take the 7 a.m. flight and I'd come back home Thursday night. And I did that every week. So, I mean, it was fun. I don't mind traveling, but after a while, it got to me and I was like, okay,
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah. You know, I would say, I'm just estimating now because we don't keep track of this, of course, but I'd say about 90% of our business owners never had any background in the medical field at all when they get into this. They're like you, they kind of either know somebody or have heard from somebody that the doctors are struggling right now, you know, to, well, to stay in practice. And that's because their cash flow is not what it needs to be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So what caused you to, did you look at other business opportunities and franchises you said before you picked this one?
I did. I looked at some other franchises, but then I was looking for reviews, how people review some things. And people were like, oh, you have to do this and you have to keep paying, every month and this and that. So one of the things I liked about ABS was that it was a one-time fee and that's it. So I didn't have to pay anything every month or every year or whatever. So I was like, okay, I'll pay this one time and then I'm on my own. So that was one of the things that I liked about it. And then it was the lifetime support. It said you'll get lifetime support. At the time I was like, oh, I don't know what they mean. They say lifetime support, but who knows if it'll be lifetime support or not. But when I started, I would call the ABS help desk every day, sometimes a couple times a day. So it was constantly, how do I do this? How do I do the practice analysis? I'm going to go see a potential client. What should I do? And literally, whoever I talked to, they would hold my hand and say, okay, you can say this, you can say this, you can say this. And I would write down all of that, that, okay, I'm going to say this because I have no experience. So if somebody asked me, how have you done this? So I had written down everything before I went and talked to a potential customer.
Yeah, and people ask us about that because there are companies who do something similar. They teach people how to get into medical billing, and they'll say, the support is for a year or maybe even 2 years. Then after that, it's $1,200-$1,500 a year for the support. Well, I look at it like this: we make a few pennies on all the transactions that go through our system, so we're actually making money by helping you to be successful. So I said at one point, let's just forget about any fees for support. We're going to support and I know you find this hard to believe, but Sajida, we've had people come back after signing up 4, 5, 10 years ago even. And they say, I kind of put this on the shelf. I didn't get it going. We had other things going in our life. Now I'd like to get it going. Well, we just jump right in there and help them get going because again, we'll start making money, once they sign up some doctors.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It works out real good. Now, I tell people this usually on these webinars that this is a family-owned business. We've been around for 28 years. My son is now the CEO. I'm just the founder in the background. And I do these webinars, of course, but I'm still involved in dealing with licensees on a regular basis. Licensees, we call them, are kind of like a franchisee. But anyway, I stay involved in this because I just love to see people tell their story of success. We've got people signing up doctors right now more than ever. After the COVID kind of slowed down, everybody was ready to get back, I guess, in the office and get some patients in there, So So tell us a little bit about your experience with going and finding your first doctor. How did you find that first doctor? What kind of doctor they were, and so forth?
So what happened is that during training, one of the things that we were taught was I actually did the in-person training. So it was here in DFW, Dallas Fort Worth area, and I did the training there. So in the training, they said, talk to all your friends and family and tell everybody what you're doing. So I started doing that. I set up my company. I went to training in January and February. I set up my company and all that. So I think it was end of February or early March, I started talking to my, all my family members, all my friends. This is what I'm doing. And I went to a charity event, and I met a guy there, and he was like, what do you do? And he said, I'm a CPA. So he asked me, what do you do? And I said, I do this. I help doctors increase their revenue. And he was like, oh, I have a client and his revenue's been going down. Maybe you can help him. I was like, okay. So I started talking to this doctor, and I talked to him for 2 months. But after 2 months, he said, no, I don't think I want to do this. I was like, okay, no problem. So we left it. I mean, later he came back to me, but then I thought I'd go door to door. So where I live, there are a lot of small doctor practices around me. So I just went there. I would take one of the books that I got from you, Patrick, the New Thriving Medical Practice. So I would take that, and I would take some of the flyers, and I would go in and I would give it to everybody. And I said, can I bring you lunch? And, one of them said, okay, you can bring us lunch. I think it was the next week or the week after. So yes, the New Thriving Medical Practice. So this is the book I used to take with me. And I brought them lunch. And so all the people in the office, they were all sitting there, and the doctor was there. And I talked to the doctor during the time she was eating, and I was just talking. I mean, I had this presentation with me, and I talked to her, and she said, okay, why don't you meet my office manager? So the next week I went and talked to her office manager. He wasn't there at the time. And then we did a demo, and I signed up with her. So, it took, I don't know, maybe 3 months or so. This was in September. And then we did the transition. They were in Cario, so we moved her to Next Gen and all that. And I started doing billing for her. So I've had her. I mean, one of the things I like about this, that you sign up a customer and you don't mess it up, and they're with you. So, this client has been with me for the last 3 years. And, every, so often I'll ask her, how would you rate my services? And, she says, I give you 5 stars. So I was like, okay, good. So cool. So we just go on our way, and I keep doing billing for her.
That's a good way to put it. If you don't screw up, they'll stay with you.
yeah, they'll stay with you, because if there's no reason for them to switch, they'll just stay with you. So it's a lot better in that sense, that it takes a little bit of work to get a customer, but when you get a customer and you do a good job, they'll stay with you. And
Yeah.
even the other doctor that I had talked to for a couple of months, and he said, I don't want to, make a change. I was like, okay. But I kept sending him emails. I actually mailed him the book too. And, I would send him Christmas, Merry Christmas, and, Thanksgiving and this and that. I would just keep sending him emails. And then when COVID hit, he called me and he said, oh, can you help? I was like, okay. And then I asked him, I said, why did you call me? And he said, because you kept sending me things. And I was like, okay, so she's serious. So let's see. So then he was like, okay, can you do my AR? And I said, okay. And so I started working on his AR. And then, something happened. They had some problem. And he was like, can you take on my billing? And I was like, yeah. So I took on his billing. And so he's been with me for the last, almost 2 years.
Now tell us what types of doctor the first one was and this second one.
So the first one was an OBGYN, and the second one is a cardiologist.
Cardiologist, yeah.
So he sees patients in the office, and then he goes to the hospital and he does procedures and stuff. So he's a cardiologist.
That's a great story, because we've had other business owners, licensees who've said, I approached this doctor and they go, oh no, our billing's fine. We've got it under control. And then, we teach people to do follow-up. And if you follow up like you did, something might happen in the office that they go, maybe we do need to outsource this billing and use this person, especially if you're sending them emails and things that educate them a little bit on what you do. And some of them, find out that their office manager will just walk out the door and leave them in a lurch too.
Yeah, yeah. See, that's the thing, because if the current biller, whether it's the office manager or whether it's somebody else, if they leave, the doctor has no clue what to do. So they're totally lost. So at that time, if they have somebody at the back of their mind, and I was there because I was doing the AR for him, and he was so happy that I think it was 2-3 months after we had started doing the AR. One day I went and he had a big gift for me, and I was like, what's this? And he was like, oh, you're doing such an amazing job, so I just wanted to give you this. So I was like, okay, that's nice. So and then I got he referred me to another doctor, and I've done some work for him. He's a cardiologist too. So he said, oh, can you do work on my AR? So I did that. And he said, oh, can you do a little bit of credentialing? I was like, yeah. And then he wanted me to do some payment postings, and I did that. So he hasn't signed me up for all the billing, but I keep doing things, because then whenever he has a problem, I know he's going to think of me, and he'd say, okay, come help me. So
that's right. That's a good way to look at it is, hey, I'm just going to do whatever they need for now. And, when something changes in the office for some reason, like the office manager walking out, then, they'll get excited and call you up and say, yeah, didn't you tell me earlier that you had some doctor who really did have an office manager that just didn't show up?
yes. So that this doctor, he had an office manager who was doing the billing, and for, I don't know, 13-14 years. And she had some personal issue with her child or something. She had something going on, and she just walked out. So this doctor was totally lost. What do we do? And can you help? I was like, sure, I can help. So, that's a good way to go in, and, because you already know the business. Because if you do something with them, the business, right? So how they're doing, what they're doing, and it's easy to pick up.
Right. It's kind of like, well, you've got your foot in the door. You're a part of their practice now. They consider you a partner. And so, yeah, one of the licensees that we have talked to a doctor one time, and they had bid it out to another billing company. And so this licensee lost it because that billing company wanted to do it for some ridiculously low, percentage. I think it was like 4% or something. And the licensee said, no, I can't do it for that. I do a good job and I get your money in, and, rejection rate is low and so forth. So anyway, after about 6 months of sending them follow-up emails and, our postcard campaign that we've got, the office manager called up the licensee and said, Dr. Jones wants to talk with you back in the office here. Can you come in? So the licensee went in there, and he said, you know what? You're one of the best marketers I've ever seen. Mary here says that you've been sending things to her every week. It wasn't every week. It was about once a month. But, they thought, well, this person really is serious. They want our business. They obviously are in this business to stay and want to do it. Yeah. And so that means a lot to doctors, that they've got somebody that they can rely on.
Yeah. So that's a good way of doing it.
Yeah. Here's a little question from Sunny. Says, nice to meet you, Sajida. I have a master's degree and I am in IT too. How hard was it to find the first couple of clients? You kind of told us that, but
I did. So it requires some persistence. So I think the most difficult part in this business is finding customers. But once you find them, then, like I said, I mean, if you're, it took me a little bit to learn how to do billing. But then once you get the hang of it, then it's really simple. But I would say it will take, I mean, for some people are very lucky and they get a client in a couple of weeks. But if you had to ask me, I would say it'll take at least 3, 4 months. But you have to be at it. Like if you're going door to door, like I was going, then you have to do it, every other week. So they, it's like they see you. With me, there was a bit of a problem because COVID hit. So, all the doctor offices were closed and you couldn't go in, but now they're open again. But, if you do that, or, referrals, like the other doctor I got was from a CPA. So, the thing is, tell everybody what you're doing, because you don't know where you'll find something.
No, that's right.
One time I went to a Christmas party and I was talking to somebody and they were like, what do you do? And I was like, oh, I do medical billing. And he was like, oh, that so-and-so was saying that she has a friend who was looking for a biller. So, it was a very roundabout way, like what do you say, like you're related to every sixth person on the planet or something.
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
the six degrees of separation.
6 degrees of separation, right. So it was like 3 degrees of separation. But I got to talk to the person who was looking for somebody. So I never even thought that I'd find somebody at a Christmas party. I mean, I just went there to have a good time. But you talk to people you're sitting with, what do you do and all that. So I would say just tell everybody what you're doing, and that's the best way to market yourself.
Yeah, and that's of course, you mentioned a couple of ways that we talk to people about. One of them is business networking. You went to some charity and actually talked to somebody there, and then you met the CPA, and then he gave you a referral. So that's, we teach about a dozen different ways to get clients, and you can just pick and choose which ones, fit your personality.
Yeah.
Now, one thing you mentioned, oh, go ahead.
Sorry, no, I just said that I never thought I would go door to door. I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to do that. But I found out it's not really too hard, because you go there and, first when I was going, I would just take the book or something. And then I used to take some donuts. And then, people are okay. Even if I was like, who would want donuts? But they were very happy to get donuts. They were like, oh, you brought us donuts. So you just take it to them and then pick up some cards and just get some information, who does your billing, whatever, and then just come back. So it's, I found out that it's not very difficult. I had never done that in my life because I was never in sales. So I was like, okay, this is something I will never be able to do. But when I started doing it, it was okay.
I used to teach people when we did the live training. I'd get up front and say, now, would you like to know how to go out and market this door to door? If that's what you want to do, that's one of the ways we teach, is direct contact. And we'll teach you how to do that. And you never have to say a word. And people would go, what do you mean? I'd go, well, all you do is you walk in, you leave them a brochure, and you take one of the business cards and you go back and follow up with emails and postcards and things. You really don't have to engage with people as long as you can get their contact information. And sometimes just by handing them the brochure, they'll go, well, what do you do? And it gets a conversation going. So you don't really have to do anything as far as selling, because all you're really doing is finding out, would they let you do the practice analysis? Now, have you done any practice analysis with doctors?
Oh, I have lots of them. I think so. I took lunch for, I would say, 4 different doctors before COVID hit, and I would do the practice analysis right there. So we have, like, ABS gives a whole practice analysis. I would just keep it with me, and I would just ask them, what do you do? How are you doing this? And all of that. So yes, I've done several. And the first time I did the practice analysis, I was terribly nervous, and that's when I kept calling the ABS support. I was like, I don't know, maybe I called 20 times. And how will I say this? If they ask me, have you ever done this before? What will I say? This. So, but, you go talk to them. And if they ask you, like, how many people do you have? And just tell them, I said, I'm part of a big group and I can get any expertise I need, which is actually true, because, if I had a question, when I got the OBGYN client, I called support again. And, I was like, oh, what do you do about this? And, the Tim, who's actually doing the ABS support now, his wife did billing for OBGYN, and she helped me, and she was like, oh, you do this, this, this. So there's always somebody there who can help you. And now with the Facebook group, you can ask questions there. I have such and such potential customer, what do I do? And there are like, I don't know, 200 people there. So somebody would answer and say, oh, you do this, and this is how you do. So that helps.
Yeah, if you position yourself as, I've just opened a local office of the nation's largest network of medical billing companies. We do hundreds of claims for doctors every day, thousands of doctors coast to coast. And it's true, that is true. That, our network is the largest. We've got several hundred people that are out there, talking to doctors and doing billing for doctors. So you really can position yourself as a part of something that's much larger than just you working out of your spare bedroom,
Right.
which may be the case.
Yeah.
Okay. So Sunny also says, this might be a stupid question, but how long does it take for a doctor to quit their present billing company and join yours after they decide to join you? It just depends, I guess.
It actually depends. So one of the customers I had, her office manager was doing the billing for her. So when she decided, we switched her, EHR and all that, and I started doing billing for her. So I think 3-4 months later, she actually let the office manager go. I guess he was not doing other things. He was doing billing. So she thought she didn't need to. So sometimes that's the case. Sometimes it's like they would just do other things. I mean, I think in this case, he had 3-4 other practices that he was managing. So he wasn't specific to this practice. But, I mean, in one of the other cases, the office manager is there and she does the billing for the patients that the doctor sees in the office, and all the others for like the surgery and hospital, I do the billing for that. So, I mean, that has been going on for a while. So it really depends on the situation. And sometimes the office manager does the billing, sometimes they don't, and they have a biller. Or if they get very busy, then they have, you do the billing and they manage the office itself.
I've heard a lot of licensees say that when they talk to the doctor about doing the billing, the doctor expresses maybe a concern that they might have to let somebody go. And they say, well, you don't really have to, because what's going to happen is I'm going to take over that task from that person. That will free up that person. You can reallocate their time to help you see more patients, because you're going to be able to see more patients with the help of that extra person. Some people that are doing the billing do a dozen other things too.
Yeah, especially if it's an office manager, they do a lot of other things because they have to manage the staff, and then they have to do like the pre-auths, and then they have to do the patient's insurances and all that. So there's a lot of other things to do.
Yeah. Sajida, have you ever used or had to use a sales representative? We teach people how to find those people,
No, I haven't used sales reps.
Most of your business then, after you got started, was what, from referrals?
No, like the first one I got was from going door to door, and the second one was from the CPA, and then I was part of a networking group, and someone from there referred me to another one, and she's a mental health specialist. So that customer I got through a referral through a networking group. So I've done business networking, I've done door to door, I've done emails, but I haven't hired a sales rep.
Yeah. I think the person asking this is, they're asking if we can bring a sales representative to a marketing training. Actually, we have videos on our private website for our licensees that goes through all the training that a sales rep would need. So we show you how to find those people in your area. There are people who will work strictly on commission. So if you don't want to do any marketing at all, you can use sales reps to do that, folks. That's not something that you have to fear. I know it's scary at first because, like you said, if you haven't got a sales background, where do I start here?
But business networking also helps. Like if you don't want to go door to door, and I know a lot of people don't like doing that, but you could join a business networking group. I mean, I joined my local chamber of commerce, and there were a couple doctors in there, and I didn't get the doctor as a client, but he referred me to somebody else, and he said, "Oh, you want to go talk to him?" So I talked to him. So there, like I said, I mean, you could join BNI, you could join your, and now there are lots of business networking groups that are actually free. So you don't even have to pay for them. I'm part of a couple. There's one which is local to this, the 2-3 cities that we have here. And then there's one which is called like the Women's Network, and they're free. So, they meet a couple times a month. You go there, you talk about your business, and who knows, somebody may know somebody and they'll refer you to them. You're muted, Patrick.
Sorry, I was on mute there. These are just other business people who decide to get together sometimes for breakfast or cocktails at the evening hour, and they just talk to each other about their businesses. And by doing that, sometimes little bells go off in people's minds, and they go, "Oh, you know what? By the way, you do medical billing. I happen to know somebody who's complained about, collecting money." So that's how it works. Referrals, yeah. I'm going to show this picture here of the brochures, because a lot of people don't realize that we have all of the brochures. I mentioned postcards. We've got a lot of marketing materials in addition to the books that are professionally designed. You look like you're a part of a franchise, which we're not technically a franchise because we don't have territories of any kind. You can sign up a doctor anywhere in the United States, and we don't have any royalties. You don't have to give us a portion of, all your money that you bring in as well. So these things are all a part of the package that you get when you start doing the marketing. I mentioned the books, of course. These are invaluable because, folks, you can actually have your name printed right on the cover of the book, or using this little label right here. You can put your name on it. This book, you put it on the back cover. But the point is that there are kind of like business cards, aren't they?
They are, and the thing is that you get a lot of these flyers and all the books for free. Like when I joined, I got a lot of these for free. And I went to a conference, and I had these books, and I had them displayed there. And a lot of people asked me, "Oh, you've written that book?" And I was like, "No, I haven't written it, but I wrote the forward to it." And they were very impressed. I mean, just by writing the forward to it, they were impressed by that.
Yeah, I don't think I can enlarge that middle book there, but if you can see right down here at the very bottom, it says "forward by," and then it has your name, and then comma, CMRM, Certified Medical Revenue Manager. So yeah, it's very impressive to be on the cover of a book with a doctor. There's the doctor that wrote it along with me. And same way with these books here. My son wrote this book here with Dr. Vicki Rackner. And there's your company name and contact information right on there. And this one on the back, there's a whole little section on the back where you can put your name and address and contact information. So you even said that you had mailed one of these books to somebody, hadn't you?
I did. So, I talked to a few doctors, and, they weren't ready to go with me. So I decided, okay, I'll just start mailing them. So I've mailed quite a few of them. And the thing is that when you mail a letter, it may go in the trash, but when it's bulky mail, they don't throw it. Nobody throws that in the trash. They want to open it and see what it is. So they'll open it, and books, obviously they won't throw away the book. I went to like one of the doctors that I was going door to door, and I gave this to the doctor there. And I said, I have this book. And he was like, "Oh, can I give this to my friend? I don't really need it," because he was part of a bigger network. They're like very large. They have like 100 doctors or something. So he said, "We have a central billing system, but can I give this to my friend?" I was like, "Sure." So if you have a business card, there are very few people that would take your business card without knowing you and give it to somebody else. But if it's a book, they'll take the book and they'll feel good about giving the book to somebody else. And your name is right on the top of the book. I was like, yes, I would love that, to take it, give it to whoever you want to give it.
Yeah, doctors appreciate anything that educates them. And this book is very educational, that book on the new thriving medical practice. In fact, let's see if I can put that back up there, because I think I can tell you that is one of the ones that doctors love, because the subtitle there is how to get off the hamster wheel, work smarter, not harder, generate more revenue, and enjoy greater career satisfaction in a post-pandemic world. So it's even, very up to date as to what's happening in the world. So doctors love to get a book that educates them. And the way we teach licensees, of course, to hand it out is with it highlighted in certain things and little tabs on the side, so the doctor can flip to that. And yes, somebody's asking if you get some of these with your initial investment. Yes, I think we're sending out right now, I think it's 15 maybe of each one of these books. And then you can order more with your name on there for, gosh, it's somewhere around $4 a copy. It's pretty cheap for a paperback book with your name on it.
Yeah, it's not very expensive, but I used to get I got a lot of flyers too. So you get the flyers and you get some books, and so you can start right away. Then I ordered more, but to start off, I had a good
right. Yeah. And Clyde is asking, are the books available in ebook form? And yes, they are. Yes. So you can send them out by email as an attachment by email if you wanted to too.
Yeah, and that's a very good thing, because you can send out free books.
So right.
Right.
I had one licensee who actually, during the COVID, he mailed 3 books out the way we teach you, so that it actually gets to the doctor or him or herself on their desk. And he had 2 of the doctors call up and say, I got this book, and I flipped through it and saw some of your highlighted things. He says, they said, I have, the same problems that I see you highlighting here. So could you come talk to me? And he did. He would meet with them on a Saturday morning, real early on Saturday. He said nobody was there, no patients. And he had their full attention during the COVID. He wore a mask, and they did too, and all that. But he said, I didn't even have to go see him initially. I just mailed it to him. So yeah, it works. So let me ask you, we talked about support earlier, and you've mentioned support. Just to let us know what you think of the support so far. Have we done what we said we were going to do?
Yes, very much so. In fact, I would say more than what I expected. Not that I expected you not to be, be true to your word, but I thought, I'd get a little bit of support. But, I don't call like I used to every week. I mean, every day. Now, I call whenever I need to, but I get a response right away. I was going to a conference. I was like, okay, what do? I need these banners and this and that. Somebody called me back and they said, okay, this is what you can do. And, so, and any question about anything, even like after 3 years, I have questions. So I'll call and I'll say, what do you do? And, they know me by name by now. So they'll say, oh, Sajida. Okay. So what is it? What can we do for you? So it's been really very good. I mean, the support has been really, really good. So I'm very happy for that. And I don't have to pay anything. I mean, that's the big thing. That was one of the things I went with ABS, but even after 3 years, nobody has asked me to pay for anything. Obviously for, if I want to order new books or new flyers or something, but no royalty or no other
support fees. Yeah. People don't realize that some companies, after the first year, they'll charge you another $1,500 a year for support. And we don't do that. By the way, this is a picture of our California support office. We actually went out there and visited NextGen, and that's their support department for our licensees when you need support, from them directly. And the reason we don't have to charge anything, of course, is those ancillary services that I mentioned earlier. We make money on all of those. So if you offer one of those to a doctor and they're paying you to provide that service. We're making a few pennies on each one of those transactions as well. So we want to support you. We want you to get out there and just build this as big as you possibly can. Sajida, it's about 15 till. I'm going to let you go here in just another 5 minutes or so. But first, let me ask you, how much time each week did you devote to the business when you first began, and how much time are you putting in now? Has it slacked off, or are you putting in more time?
No, like when I started, I was putting in a lot of hours. I would say, marketing during the day. But when I got my first customer, I wanted to learn billing inside out myself. That was by design. I mean, I know a lot of licensees who hire somebody to do the billing, and I was like, I need to do this. I need to learn to do this. And now I have a couple employees and they do it. But at the time, I was spending insane amounts of time. I mean, there were days when I was working till 11 p.m. And, I was like, oh, I need to get another client. And my husband was like, are you crazy? How are we going to do it? I was like, no, I'm learning this. But that was, I would say, the first couple months, maybe. After that, I learned it. And now all that work that I was doing, in the whole day, I think I can do it maybe in an hour a day. So because it's learning curve, right? There's always a learning curve with everything. So, once you learn it, then it's very, very simple. I mean, billing itself, you just have to know the codes and you have to know where to look. I mean, that's the thing. You don't have to remember any codes. I don't have to memorize, what it is. Sometimes there's something that I don't know. You go on Google and you say CPT code for this, and you can find it. I mean, you can find anything on Google. You can find, ICD-10 codes. You can find CPT codes for anything, whether it's cardiology or whether it's, mental health, or whether it's, any specialty, you can find them. And so now I would say billing itself, maybe an hour, sometimes 2 hours. That's a day. That's about it.
So, Sajida, what's the best thing that you could tell people about who've never owned their own business about running your own business?
Well, a lot of things. I mean, like I said, I was in corporate America. So when I wasn't traveling, there was a job I had, which I was driving 3 hours a day. I would go in there. I lived in Fort Worth and I was going to McKinney. If somebody's in Texas, they might know that. It was 55 miles one way. So it would take me an hour and a half to go and an hour and a half to come back. Now it's like, I don't even have to work like 9 to 5. I mean, some days in the morning, if I have to do something, I don't have to work. I can work in the afternoon. I can work on Saturday. I can work whenever I want, because it's my business and I need to do it. And, sometimes when my kids are in town, I'd spend the day with them, but at night I'd spend an hour, 2 hours, and I can do my work. So, with your own business and with this, business, I can go, I have a granddaughter, so I go to visit her and I can go there for 2 weeks and I'm not taking time off because, when she's asleep, I'll do my billing and it's done. Because, you can do it from anywhere. You don't have to be in a specific place for that. So I think that's the biggest benefit of this business. I mean, there may be other businesses like this, but this business, you can work from anywhere and anytime you want. So it's, and it's the same. It is like I'm working, before that, when I had to take time off, you say, oh, I'm going to take this vacation and I'm going there. I mean, you can take a vacation. I mean, I take vacations. I took a vacation when I didn't work. But, if you have to go visit your kids, if you have to go somewhere, you can work a couple hours here or there and you're fine.
Yeah, so it's basically lifestyle, isn't it? It's your own. You're free. You're free from somebody telling you when to take off and when to go on vacation and so forth.
And when to wake up and when to start working. I mean, some days I'm up till 2 a.m. at night, and other days, I go for a walk, go do something else during the day, and start work at 11 o'clock, 11 a.m., 12 o'clock, whatever time I want. So it's the freedom. It's the freedom of your time, what you want to do, when you want to do it. I mean, I think that's the biggest thing that I learned, when you have a job, you have to work these hours here in this place, whatever. With your own business, you can work, you can work in the living room, you can work in your bedroom, you can work, in the park, you can work whatever you want. And
Yeah. On
you
the
have to,
beach in Hawaii, if you had an internet connection out there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I did actually go to Hawaii for a week and I worked from there. So yes.
Good. Ryan wants to know, what's the name of your billing company?
It's S2N2 Medical Business Solutions.
S2N2. What does that stand for?
Well, we're huge Star Wars fans, and this is from R2D2. So me and my husband, both our names are from with S, and our kids' names are with N. So I just decided to call it S2N2 Medical Business Solutions.
Oh, that is great. Sonny's asking, says, I think doctors internally have to do the paperwork for a patient's health, meds, and other stuff, and they get paid for that. So do you also have to do that? You don't know anything about the patient's health or?
No. We don't do. I mean, I don't do anything with the patient's health. I mean, the most that I do is like if there is something that requires an authorization. So I would take the authorization, but the doctor gets that signed by the patient, and I'll just upload it, to Ability or to whatever, to the insurance company's website. But
Yeah.
no, I don't deal with the patient's health at all.
She says, does the billing company also have to do prior authorizations and other paperwork, which provides some money to the doctors? Not
Maybe
sure.
some people do that. I don't. The office front desk person, she does prior auths.
All the prior authorizations, yeah.
Yes, so I haven't done that. Maybe there might be some people who do that, but I don't.
Yeah, good. Well, Sajida, thank you so much for your time. This has been, I'm sure, very encouraging to a lot of people and clarifying to, what they're looking at if they wanted to get into the business. So any last thing you want to say to everybody?
Well, I'm very happy I got into this business, honestly, because I had never been a business owner. I was always an employee, and I was very skeptical, what would it do and how would it work? But it has worked well for me, and I love the flexibility, and I'm happy I went with ABS. I mean, I'll say it to your face. I mean, I signed up because I met you, but I haven't been disappointed because I was like, okay, maybe they say something and later on it'll be something else, but it hasn't been. I mean, what they said was what it is. So
we have some places out there on the internet where people can go and find reviews, like Google and so forth, and the Better Business Bureau. And we tell people, look, you can't stay in business for 28 years on the internet nowadays. There's too many bad things going on out there. If we were a scam, people would have found out about it pretty fast. So
yeah, and people say bad things a lot sooner than they would say good things. So you mess up one person, and it'll be there. It'll be all over, and it won't go away.
Well, again, thank you, Sajida.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, folks, I'm going to wrap up here by showing you another thing that a lot of people don't realize. I don't know many companies in this business that actually offer a money-back guarantee, but we're the only medical billing training company out there that we know of that offers that. And that's because I don't want people getting into this business and deciding, later on that it's not something they should have done. So we give you 30 days. I know that's not a long period of time, but believe me, you'll be able to go through our online training during that period, and you'll see every aspect of the business and learn everything there is that we teach. And if there's something there that just doesn't appeal to you and you say, this is not what I thought it was going to be, you just ask for your money back, and we'll be glad to give that back to you. We're pretty sure of what we have, of course. And if you're still wondering how to get involved in our business, ask for our research guide. We have a downloadable research guide. You just want to ask your ABS rep to send that to you. It's over 65 pages of information that you won't find on our website. Here's how you find out who your rep is. If you don't know, it's the person who sent you the email inviting you to this webinar, but there's our phone number and there's an email address that you can just write it and say, hey, I'd like to get that downloadable guide, and we'll get that to you. Then we have a YouTube channel that has over 100 videos out there over the years that we've posted. So if you want to learn more in depth about how we teach about marketing and all sorts of topics there, just go to youtube.com/YABS, and there it is right there on that slide. When I get through with all these steps, you can take a screenshot of this if you wanted to have it all in front of you there. Then ask your ABS rep for an owner's reference list. We have people who are like Sajida, owners from coast to coast that have agreed to take some phone calls and actually talk to you and answer all your questions directly. So be sure to ask for that. And then, of course, let's see, where am I at? A live demo, yes. Sajida mentioned a demo earlier, and that's demos that we do for you. So if you've got a doctor or an office manager that's interested, we'll show them a live demo of our system. And believe me, they get pretty impressed with that. And about 50% of all the doctors that watch our demo go ahead and sign up with our licensees. It's done via Zoom. You can be with you and your partner here watching it as well. This is our full-time demo. We've got 5 people that's all they do is do the demos for the doctors. And you can set that up online through our private website for our licensees. Then renew the purchase agreement. You can ask your ABS rep for that, and it'll give you some ideas on funding and how to get that to us, and get it into us, and then schedule your training. You'll be able to talk with your instructor, somebody again who's running a business like Sajida. She's not one of our instructors, but there are people that have gone through our certification for a trainer that trains people how to do this business. And there's about 10 modules that you'll go through. Each one's about an hour and a half, and they're all done on your schedule. So you'll meet with your instructor via Zoom and go over your schedules and set those up ahead of time so that you know when they're going to be. And you can change those if something happens. You're not locked into that. But like I said earlier, you can get through all 10 of those modules easily within your first 30 days. Most people will take 2 to 3 weeks to go through those. You'll have some homework after each one, but it's very straightforward and very simple. And we've never had anybody say, oh, this is too difficult to learn. So it works out really, really good. After that, you'll be certified by that MIRMA organization I mentioned earlier as a certified medical revenue manager. Again, my name is Patrick Phillips. I'm the founder of American Business Systems, and I thank you for your time. I hope I see you in one of our online trainings real soon. Bye for now.